we've had a great day already, talked to a bunch of people, seen a lot of stuff. We just saw the records from the French.
Coming up on a special edition of Winthrop Close Up, hear why MSNBC star Rachel Maddow is excited to be in Rock Hill.
I'm not an advocate for marijuana, but I am an advocate for freedom.
It wasn't just the Democrats on campus. See why Republican candidate Rand Paul stopped by Winthrop.
Coming up on Winthrop Close Up, see what has the West Center spinning and full of press.
The world has its eyes on Rock Hill, but what brought the politicians to Winthrop? Find out on Close Up.
Welcome to a special edition of Winthrop Close Up. My name's Matthew Cray.
And I'm William Richard.
200 journalists from around the world descended upon Winthrop to hear 3 Democrats and 1 Republican lobby for your vote.
It was a sea of political celebrities. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow and Chris Matthews came to town, bringing with them lights, cameras, and plenty of political action. Michaela Dunbar has reacted from outside the forum in Brynes Auditorium, and a close look at history in the making, as dozens of journalists filed their stories. Janae Reese reports from the Spin Room.
We start with reporter Michaela Dunbar by Brynes Auditorium. Michaela, what's the temperature of the crowd following the Democratic Forum?
Thanks, Will and Matt. Behind me, as you can see, the crowds are currently exiting Brynes Auditorium. 3 of the Democratic candidates just finished proving why they should be the next president of the United States. Do you think that the next president of the United States is on the stage tonight?
I do. I believe Hillary Clinton really spoke well and that Winthrop University really supported her. But I believe the next president that was on stage is Bernie Sanders.
So after tonight's forum, are you leaning toward one particular candidate?
I am definitely. I'm leaning more towards Bernie.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, I heard him mention he's trying to raise minimum wage for the whole nation, which is, it seems like impossible to $15. So that's a good thing because, I mean, here in the South, it's in Spartanburg, in South Carolina, it's like $7.25, which is not a lot at all.
One of the questions that was posed to candidate Bernie Sanders was if he thought that he could win the African-American vote. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that question is so centrical. It doesn't take into intersectionality, so I'm not sure that that really answered anything. I don't think he gave an appropriate response to actually dive into because, you know, that's just a surface question. You can't really, that's like asking about the fate of a human race and how they feel. You don't really know.
I know a Winthrop poll recently came out that around 70% of the Democratic voters were supportive of Hillary, and around 15% were supportive of Bernie, and around 2% were supportive of OMalley. So do you think that the forum tonight will change those views in any ways?
I believe yes. And the reason, again, like I said, Hillary has the biggest name. However, when students and non-students alike are introduced to Bernie and they see him speak, and Martin O'Malley alike, their opinions are going to change because they're finally being introduced to something that they haven't seen before. So I would not be surprised if those numbers changed dramatically. I wouldn't be surprised if Martin O'Malley shifted up to 10 to 15%, Bernie maybe 30, and then Hillary still having the majority, but less so than before.
Is there anything else that you would like to add about the forum tonight?
No, I'm just excited that it happened at Winthrop University. I mean, who would expect Rock Hill to host it? And I'm really excited that even though I didn't get to sit inside, I got to go to a viewing party and be a part of that. And that's going to be very exciting for me, especially if one of them goes on to be our president.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has been Michaela Dunbar with Winthrop Close Up.
Now let's go to reporter Janae Reese at the Spin and Press Filing Room. Janae?
I'm in the West Center where over 200 news conglomerates from around the world gather to cover the Democratic Candidates Forum. As you can see, it's a packed house and anything can happen.
It draws reporters from all over the country, and all the major networks are usually at events like this.
Names like Jesse Jackson, Jim Clyburn, and Governor O'Malley himself dropped by to talk to reporters.
So a press filing room is used for a couple of reasons. One, if your actual event space can't accommodate press. Another reason is because of the live broadcast. Also, this event is exclusive to MSNBC.
West Center employees put in many hours into preparing for the media takeover.
We had to clear off the courts and roll our tarps out so that no equipment would damage the floors. We had to amp up the Wi-Fi.
This filing center and the spin room is a chance to give the press an additional opportunity to interact with surrogates from the campaigns.
I actually think the bid for re-election was actually much harder.
The spin and press filing room is available until midnight. Candidates will be dropping by to speak to the press. This has been Janae Reese, Winthrop Close Up. Now back to you guys.
And still ahead, while the Democrats filled up Brynes Auditorium earlier that day, U.S. Senator Republican Rand Paul stopped by Winthrop to deliver his stump speech. Hear what he had to say in Richardson Ballroom in a report by Emily Gill.
The eyes of the world are on Rock Hill and Winthrop University. But what draws politicians to our relatively small university? Reporter Jacob Hallex explains.
Location, location, location. That's what draws the big politicians to this small university. Katerina Moyen is co-director of the West Forum and is a member of the team that helped bring the forum to campus.
Winthrop University is in we call it a sweet spot. We're located in South Carolina. So South Carolina is one of the first primary states. It's the first primary state in the South, which makes it really important to all the Democratic and Republican strategists.
Actually, Winthrop is really the gateway to South Carolina. Winthrop is ideal because not only are we located in South Carolina, which is an early primary state, but we're in the Charlotte media market. So they can hit two states for the price of one.
South Carolina Democratic Party Chair Jamie Harrison says this event has been in the making for a long time.
You know, Winthrop came to me very early on at the beginning of the presidential season, and they made the case of why they would be a great host. And so Rock Hill became a great place, a great location for us to move forward.
Be on the lookout for more political visits once primary season ends and general elections begin. Back to you in the studio.
Coming up, we'll have a one-on-one interview with presidential candidate Martin O'Malley.
Plus, find out what put this local Rock Hill bar in the national spotlight.
Stay tuned to see what the Southern Democrats had to say at the Chairs Chat.
She's known for her liberal opinions and in-depth reporting. Tonight I take you into a live taping of the Rachel Maddow Show at McHale's Bar in Rock Hill. McHale's Irish Pub found national attention when the Rachel Maddow Show came to town. Fans from all over the Southeast flocked to see their favorite MSNBC star.
She is my ultimate idol. She is so intelligent, and the way she's able to communicate news, even though she's liberal, like I never feel like she's cramming her political stance to her audience. So I just really respect her and love her.
Fans weren't the only ones excited. I spoke with Miss Maddow before the show, and she too was excited to make a stop in Rock Hill.
Once we found out we were going to be here, I've actually covered a few Rock Hill related stories on my show ever before we knew this was going to happen. And so I asked if we could come down a day early so I could talk to some people here, see some things that I'd reported on here. And that's why we're going to be at McHale's tonight, because I wanted an extra day to be here instead of just flying in to do the forum and then flying right back out. So we've had a great day already, talked to a bunch of people, seen a lot of stuff. We just saw the records from the Friendship 9 that got not expunged but overturned earlier this year. It's been a great day.
The hour-long show was a success. Manager Chris Ruth couldn't be more pleased.
The show went phenomenally. The crew, the cast, even Rachel Maddow herself, everything was fantastic. Good turnout too. Can't argue with that at all.
Fans lucky enough to attend the event listened to Maddow talk about the Democratic Party here in the Palmetto State. Though South Carolina has been a predominant red state over the last 40 years, the energy of the crowd was off the charts. We spoke with Rachel Maddow earlier that day about the forum. Here's what she had to say.
A couple a year, they're always so much fun, and there's so much excitement for the forum tomorrow. I mean, when we found out that all the available tickets went on sale at 9 and they were gone by 9:05, I thought, I guess when people say nobody has an interest in Democratic politics in South Carolina, they might be wrong. So we knew there was a lot of interest in the forum. I wanted to give people basically another chance just to get out and sort of be part of what's going on. We're so excited to be here. We kind of wanted to share that opportunity. So I think it's going to be a regular show, maybe a little more South Carolina focused than usual, but I think if you've ever seen my show before, you will recognize things tonight.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
While Rachel Maddow and other members of the national media were here, local media also covered the event. Winthrop alumna and Herald reporter Anna Douglas had this to say.
Yes, definitely a busier week for us. You know, we have a small staff to begin with. We have, I think, 5 or 6 full-time staff members who are covering news of all sorts. And so this is an all-hands-on-deck type situation.
There were reporters from around the Carolinas, including some from the Lowcountry, and plenty from North Carolina as well.
Stay tuned. Reporter Zach Grieger will join us with more information on what the Southern Democrats had to say at the chairs.
See how Rock Hill police go undercover to keep you safe at the Democratic Forum.
Do you find yourself dreaming of newspapers? Does this look like your idea of a good time? Does the scent of fresh ink soothe your soul? Does the mere thought of writing send you into a frenzy? You suffer from writing-itis, but you aren't alone. Join people just like you. Don't wait. Get help now. Stop by Diggs 104 to get started.
Democratic Party chairs from across the South joined South Carolina Democratic Party Chair Jamie Harrison for Chairs Chat in Dina's Place. Jessica Sampson has the story.
Rocking chairs and ice lemonade was the start of a chat with the Southern Democratic chairs.
The Democrats here they're trying to appeal to the younger voters. They were talking about Yik Yak and Snapchat, and those things are pretty common here at Winthrop, and I like that. They also were talking about different issues such as healthcare and education.
Many important topics were discussed, but a very important one was getting the millennials involved.
I think it's important for us to understand that we are sort of all in this together, that we're experiencing the same types of problems, and that we all need to reach out to our electorate. The electorate is changing, and one of the important groups of people that we need to reach out to are our young people.
I think that helps in a way as far as like they were explaining how they need more youth to vote, and that we make a good portion of like the South, and that they need our opinions, they need our votes in order to reflect in the democratic system. So I think if we went to help and we went to vote, we would make it a long way as far as education and all of that.
Presidential primaries are in March. Remember to register to vote and go to the polls. This is Jessica Sampson, Winthrop Close Up.
To register to vote, you can sign up online at scvotes.org. Though the Democratic Forum started at night, supporters came out hours earlier for a rally.
Hillary, you say Clinton. Bernie.
To show their support for the senator, volunteers organized a rally preceding the forum. Staffers gave out Sanders merchandise, including pins, signs, and stickers to his supporters.
There's a lot of Hillary supporters that have gotten tickets into the forum, and we just wanted to make sure that the Bernie supporters in South Carolina are able to show up and make a presence known on TV.
I just feel like he's the best candidate for the people. He definitely recognizes that we as women do not get the same privileges that men do, and we definitely support that.
Though the rally officially started at 4:30, volunteers came out hours earlier to take signatures and spread the word. Some people are looking beyond just 2016. Later, we have a special report on how millennials are quickly becoming the next generation of leaders. And the forum has come and gone. But how did the student newspaper prepare for the event? And what did it mean for the school? We explore just that coming up next on Winthrop Close Up.
Coming up, I take you to the Republican Town Hall held in Richardson Ballroom. Next on Close Up.
The Democrats weren't the only big political players in town. Campus was also buzzing in anticipation of presidential hopeful and U.S. Senator Rand Paul. We go now to Emily Gill, who has more for us. Emily?
Now in Richardson Ballroom, staff and workers are cleaning up after U.S. Senator Rand Paul spoke at one of Tim Scott's town halls.
I'm not an advocate for marijuana, but I am an advocate for freedom, and I think disproportionately our drug laws have put poor people in jail, primarily minorities, and I do want to try to fix that.
Dr. John Holder, one of Winthrop's political science professors, observed the importance of Paul's statement that he gave to the press before the event.
The social conservative vote is very important to the Republican coalition in the South, and when he's talking about things like sentencing disparities for crack cocaine and powdered cocaine and the effect that that has on minority families, that's not something you usually hear Republicans talking about.
Karen Kudrowski, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, was glad to have varying views on campus within the same day.
At one point, there were over 21 candidates who were in the race to be the President of the United States, Democrats and Republicans, and we are determined to have as many of them on campus as we can, because in November 2016, I want to say that the road to the White House came through Winthrop University.
From Richardson Ballroom, I'm Emily Gill, Winthrop Close Up.
Members of the college Republicans were happy to see their views represented on campus.
I think that even though the Republican Forum is definitely overshadowed, it's still good for Tim Scott and Trey Gowdy and Rand Paul to get out into the York County community. And I like that Winthrop is having that event as well as other events as cultural events. So hopefully people who weren't able to get tickets to the Democratic Forum will go there and see the other view and just kind of be exposed to something other than what they think.
Several college Republican members have volunteered their time this semester to make sure Republican events on campus are a success. Up next, former Maryland Governor Martin OMalley talks about his appreciation for Winthrop and presidential aspirations. And in spite of a buzz on campus, voter apathy is becoming a growing issue. Find out why ahead on Winthrop Close Up.
Welcome back. Reporter Michaela Dunbar spoke with presidential candidate Martin OMalley in a one-on-one interview. She asked him what he thought of MSNBC's forum and his thoughts on Winthrop University.
How did you feel about the forum tonight?
I loved the forum tonight, and Winthrop University looked awesome, and I thought that Rachel Maddow did a great job of actually talking to each of us as human beings. I mean, let's be honest. There is no perfect candidate. We're all human beings, and we offer ourselves to serve in the most powerful office in the land. And we offer, the people decide. And I thought tonight was a really good conversation, and I think that the Democratic Party has choices to make, and there's three of them. And I'm the only candidate in this race that actually is speaking to, I believe, a new generation of leadership, where our country's going, and has a proven track record of actually getting things done on progressive values and making them reality.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just want to thank Winthrop. I mean, you guys have been totally great tonight. My wife was down here tonight, and the crowd couldn't have been kinder and greater. So, look, thank you, Winthrop University. Thank you for what you do to bring up and educate the next generation of South Carolinians. You all have a great state.
It seems like OMalley was pleased with the outcome of the forum and enjoyed his time here at Winthrop. Although we tried to speak with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, neither candidate was available for comment.
With Winthrop hosting the Democratic Forum, many expected students and faculty to have first priority for tickets. Ticket holders lined up to pick up the physical tickets the Tuesday and Wednesday before the forum.
Yes, I'm very glad I got my ticket, considering
The wait list is up to more than 1,000 people, so the fact that I got it right away is very satisfying.
Tickets were picked up in the dean's office at specific times. Ticket holders were required to present a photo ID and confirm contact information before receiving their ticket.
The Council of Student Leaders hosted a viewing party in Winthrop Auditorium for all of those who couldn't get a ticket. More than 60 students filled the room to take in the forum, eat free food, and register to vote. Dean Bethany Marlowe says it was a great learning opportunity.
One of our faculty members, the social studies faculty member, Dr. Gilligan, will be here, and we can pause and have conversation during the course of the forum if we choose to do that. So it'll be a more intimate setting.
I think it just really appeals to everyone else that is looking.
Students actively participated in the discussion and gained new knowledge about their peers and the presidential candidates.
South Carolina has long been a red state, but some believe that could be changing. Jessica Sampson reports from the DNC Southern Caucus.
South Carolina Representative Golda Cobb-Hunter, chair of the DNC Southern Caucus, led the town hall meeting that taught Winthrop students more about the South.
I thought that it was very informative and very inspirational. A lot of points were being made about how the South really needs to make an evolution in order to affect some real change in our region.
Equality, race, and faith are some of the topics that were discussed here at the town hall meeting. Here is what the president of the Young Democrats of America had to say about the next generation.
Millennials right now, between the age of 18 and 33, a huge part of what we call the new American electorate, 51% of those people support the Democratic Party.
A USC student came to talk to Democrats about LGBTQ issues.
Well, trans people in our community who still struggle a lot. And it's great that they can get married, but they still have to deal with healthcare issues, like not having their gender confirmation surgeries considered an important healthcare issue.
The role of the church in politics was a topic that gave this student another view of the church.
When we think about the church, especially the black church, I think we have a primary role in fighting the injustices that African Americans face today.
Many of the speakers say if Democrats come together, that we can flip the South from red to blue. This is Jessica Sampson.
If you are interested in getting more involved, join the College Democrats here on campus.
Up next, I'll show you what students and the school newspaper found out about the forum and how it affects Winthrop.
Plus, find out why some students don't want to exercise their right to vote. Stay with us. Welcome back to Winthrop Close Up. With the Democratic Forum here in Rock Hill last weekend, Rock Hill Police asked for a little backup.
You'll see a lot of Rock Hill police officers in uniform, manning traffic checkpoints, just working floating security on the campus. But we're also going to have officers in suits and undercover just wondering to just keep an eye on the crowd. And you know, the whole hope is everybody comes to Winthrop, comes to Rock Hill, has a great experience and a safe experience.
With big events in town, traffic levels were expected to rise. The Rock Hill Police Department joined forces with Winthrop Campus Police with the goal of providing a safe trip for all attendees. Campus Police and Rock Hill PD were also joined by the York County Sheriff's Office and the Secret Service. Winthrop University has been officially marked on the political trail, but that hasn't changed why many young adults are not voting. Janae Reese investigates the effect of voter apathy.
Rock Hill is swarmed by the political scene, and young adults have the opportunity to interact with candidates from various parties. Yet, some students still do not plan on voting.
A lot of students feel like their votes don't matter. They feel like it's not something that really affects them.
I haven't voted yet because I haven't had time to register.
I honestly didn't care about it.
The millennial generation, born from 1982 to 2003, should be known as the youth vote, but this generation should be recognized as the new voting cohort in America. Believe it or not, this generation will dominate the political life of the 21st century.
There's a correlation between age and voting. The older you are, the more likely you are to vote. And college students who are younger and more mobile really haven't developed that kind of connection yet.
I think if you want political culture and culture around you to change, I think the biggest thing to do is voting.
Who's in office matters. The decisions that they make are going to affect you long term.
Hopefully, the political candidates will reach students and give insight on issues that matter the most. This has been Janae Reese, Winthrop Close Up.
There's a lot that goes into covering a political event such as the Democratic Forum. I interviewed several student journalists to see how they got the story.
In terms of what they're asking for.
Media members from all around gathered to cover the Democratic Forum, including Winthrop's own Johnsonian. Here's how they think they fared.
I actually think we handled it pretty well. We were constantly updating social media, and that's what we really wanted to do. And then we also tried to have a quick turnaround on our stories so we could get them online to keep up with the Rock Hill Herald and the Charlotte Observer, because, you know, even though we're student publications, we still want to stay on top of things just like the other newspapers in the area.
Freshman Matt Hatchell got a special experience this weekend as he was able to sit on the stage with the candidates.
I got the opportunity because I'm a member of CSL here at Winthrop, and so when time came that they needed people on the panel, we were the first ones they turned to, and it was a first come, first served basis. So I responded to the email right away, and I was lucky enough to get the position.
The forum was designed as a one-on-one discussion with the candidates, which gave the event a comfortable feel.
While they are running for the Democratic nomination later the presidency, it still showed that they are still human beings. They still are, you know, like us.
Winthrop's Roddy McMillan also covered the event. News editor Mary Bordenero tells us what it meant to the school.
We had Rand Paul here on Friday. We've had Clinton and Bernie twice. You know, when Obama was running, Obama came here. We have a lot of politicians come here, and I like the idea of Winthrop being the venue where political change and a political discussion can happen, and I feel like it's really good for the student body to become active and that sort of thing.
The aftermath of the forum got Winthrop a mention on Saturday Night Live.
Tonight we're coming to you live from Winthrop University in beautiful South Carolina, and to remind you of that,
I think that goes down as the first time ever Winthrop has been mentioned on Saturday Night Live. I think that's you've hit the big time when you hit SNL.
Man, I think it's Larry David that plays Bernie Sanders. Phenomenal, even those 1%ers. Well, thank you for joining us on this special edition of Winthrop Close Up. If you want to stay up to date on campus news, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Winthrop Close Up. We'll see you next week.